And looking back on the year just past, we all have a lot to be happy about. 1993 has been a banner year for the Warner Brothers studio stores. It's been an incredible ride so far. The studio stores have been one of the fastest and most successful retail store ventures in history, successful beyond anyone's most optimistic projections, including mine. As we end 1993, our sales are more than double what we were hoping for in our original business plan. And as we look forward to the new year, we see more success ahead.
Ema, you stinker.
There was nothing quite like visiting your local shopping mall as a budding movie fan in the 90s. There of course was Suncoast Pictures, beckoning you with its red neon glow, as well as the Disney Store, with their massive custom storefronts the likes of which we'll probably never see in retail shopping again. My personal favorite, however, was always the Warner Brothers Studios store. And no, I'm not talking about the meager souvenir shops that you'll find in Warner Brothers Burbank and Warner Brothers World in Dubai. I'm talking about the original Warner Brothers Studios store, a series of retail stores mostly found in shopping malls across the US, but later overseas as well.
This British jewel in the Warner Brothers crown occupies 28,000 square feet of space on 2 floors and is filled with enough Americana and entertainment to make even the stiffest upper lips break out in grins.
It's brilliant fun, it's good for all the family, everyone can come here and there's something for everybody.
Dedicated to selling branded merchandise from then everything under the Warner Brothers umbrella. At the time, that included their film catalog with classic films like Rebel Without a Cause and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and more modern hits like Gremlins and The Goonies, as well as Looney Tunes and DC Comics. Like the Disney Store, there was a big focus on toys and children's merchandise. But Warner Brothers Studios Store also catered to the more serious movie buff, with rare collectibles centered around classic movies that you couldn't find anywhere else. Much like the Disney Store, stumbling upon a Warner Brothers Studios store was an event in and of itself. Usually ordained with a giant statue of Bugs Bunny in various costumes, most of the locations were themed around the area the store was located in. For instance, the location at Caesar's Palace featured many Looney Tunes characters in Roman outfits. The Santa Monica store featured their own unique theming, with a surfing Bugs Bunny and motorcycle-riding Tasmanian Devil outside. In 1996, Warner merged with Turner Broadcasting, which expanded the studio's rights to include the MGM library pre-1986 and Hanna-Barbera. The sky seemed to be the limit for the Warner Brothers Studios store, and locations quickly started sprouting up all over the country, with 130 stores in operation at its peak, including a 40,000 square foot Times Square location, which featured a Superman glass elevator and a 3D movie. But then, in 2001, Time Warner merged with AOL, and this corporate takeover marked the beginning of the end for the Warner Brothers Studios store. As Warner Brothers has continued to evolve and change hands with a recent acquisition by Discovery, resulting in some truly controversial choices.
What do you want?
My face on the $1 bill.
You must be joking.
Do I look like I'm joking?
I want to take a look back at this simpler time in Warner Brothers history, a time when a Statue of Liberty costume Bugs Bunny generated excitement like never before. This is the rise and fall of the Warner Brothers Studios store. Now, in fairness to Disney, this store probably wouldn't exist had it not been for the Disney Store. I bet you can still picture the one at your local shopping mall growing up. With its first shop opening in 1987, the Disney Store was the first of its kind in that it turned retail shopping into an experience. Inside most Disney stores, you would find a seemingly insurmountable mound of plush toys and a giant TV screen playing Disney classics. These really big, intricate indoor mall Disney stores are pretty much a thing of the past, but they inspired other companies to mimic their business model. Paramount, which at the time owned a series of retail stores simply called Paramount Pictures, was rebranded to the Suncoast Motion Picture Company the following year. This way, they were able to diversify their brand and sell more merchandise and expand to shopping malls throughout the US, with their storefronts often inspired by the big Disney ones. Warner Brothers was quick to follow, opening its first retail store in September 1991 at the Beverly Center in Los Angeles, with more stores quickly following in shopping malls throughout the country. Like the Disney store that inspired it, the Warner Brothers store featured intricate decor and displays featuring their most popular characters. Costume characters were often present for store openings and special events, and when space allowed, a giant Bugs Bunny statue or similar character theming was erected at the entrance, welcoming guests. Similarly, above the exit, Porky Pig's signature catchphrase wished guests a fond farewell as they left.
Our typical sign as customers exit is, that's all folks, and in this store it's Thaddeus, Venetius, Focus, which I'm sure my Latin teacher would kill me for, but a lot of people get the joke.
The store also offered a play area for kids. Most locations had a crawl-through rabbit tunnel and an interactive Marvin the Martian's rocket. This thing was always the highlight of my visits as a kid, as there seemed to be dozens of different buttons to push, each with their own sound effects. The theming in these stores was simply incredible. They also offered merchandise for the whole family, which is partly the reason the stores were so successful. There was classic movie stuff for dad, decorative housewares for mom, comic books and action figures for boys, and Warner Brothers branded purses and apparel for older sisters.
Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
Now, as incredible as the interior of these stores were, the exteriors were even more impressive. As mentioned, other unique stores included the one at Forums at Caesar's Palace in Vegas, as well as locations abroad, such as this unique store in Chester, England.
Ladies and gentlemen, the grand opening of the Warner Brothers Studio Store will be at 10:30 a.m. today in a brand new store in Eastgate Street. Shut up!
The opening of a location on Fifth Avenue in New York was treated like a movie premiere, with a celebrity-studded red carpet gala.
These days, the studios are selling their wares in trendy retail outlets.
Over the Thanksgiving Day weekend, they were experiencing crowds, the likes of which I have never seen at a retailer. It looked like the gala opening for a big Hollywood film. People were lined up around the block.
Other celebrities led store openings around the world.
Some of the hardships of growing up, they were the comic relief. So coming here conjures up about 7 or 8 billion memories.
It's not difficult to figure out which character is his favorite.
Oh, let me ponder that. Say, I think it might be Sylvester. Maybe.
And then, of course, there was even one on the Atlantic City Boardwalk, headed up by...
The store is going to play a very big part in the success of Trump Plaza. So we're really happy with it. It's going to be a tremendous success.
This location featured 1920s theming to harken back to Atlantic City's glory days, and even an indoor Ferris wheel. In 1996, Time Warner acquired Turner Broadcasting, and with it all of their rights, most notably the MGM catalog of films made before 1986, as well as Cartoon Network, along with the rights to the Hanna-Barbera characters. The crown jewel of this merger, as far as the retail shops were concerned though, was The Wizard of Oz, with the studio store ushering in a series of collectibles from the movie. Everything from cookie jars, to keychains, to glasses cases, to even an official action figure line that was only available in stores. The Hanna-Barbera characters were also a natural fit, with Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, and the Jetsons fitting right in with the other Looney Tunes merchandise. As you can see, a big part of marketing for the Warner Brothers Studio Store was the Warner Brothers catalog.
Just call this number and they'll send you a t-shirt for just $9.95. With your shirt, you'll also get a free catalog of Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes stuff, like movie posters, mugs, and director's chairs. So don't leave home without calling and ordering. Oh, that's Daffy! Daffy Duck!
How else were we supposed to be alerted to Batman Forever mugs, or a Marvin the Martian lava lamp? And what kid didn't want their own Night Court hand puppet replica? They really covered all the bases. Which is probably what led the company to merge yet again, this time with AOL.
What you will come to know, as we know instinctively, that there is a natural fit between these two companies. Not just because there's a subscription base, there's the same kind of brand building, consumer attention, new media interactive service orientation.
At the time, the merger seemed like a no-brainer for those in charge. AOL was looking to combine with a more traditional company, and Time Warner was looking to expand their reach to the World Wide Web. The partnership, however, failed. AOL, the one-time leader of home internet providers, dropped in value significantly over the next year. This, combined with an overall retail slump, was disastrous news for the studio store. In July of 2001, AOL Time Warner, as they were now called, announced that it was seeking to sell off their retail division to make ends meet. But with no buyers lined up, the company decided to cut their losses and began liquidating their retail store division, laying off up to 3,800 employees. The more high-profile retail stores were the first to close that winter, and by the following December, the last Warner Brothers studio store had shut its doors forever. 2 years later, in July 2003, Time Warner dropped AOL from their name, remaining Time Warner until AT&T purchased the brand in 2016. Looking back over these images and videos of the Warner Brothers studio store, I'm really nostalgic for what a special place this store was for young movie fans. These stores embraced those who loved cinema in a way that no retail store had done before. When I find myself wandering through one of the lone indoor shopping malls still around, I find myself hoping that maybe, just maybe, I'll stumble upon a Warner Brothers Studios store that was saved, with a giant Bugs Bunny greeting me and the sound of Marvin's rocket still echoing through the store.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. That is a...
Regardless of what the future holds for Warner Brothers, I don't think they will ever be as great as in the era when something as bold as the Warner Brothers Studio store could exist.
I think it's one of the most beautiful stores I've ever seen.